I'm Pablo Torre, and this episode of Pablo Torre Finds Out is brought to you by Remy Martin 1738 Accord Royale. Exceptionally smooth cognac for all your game day festivities. Please drink responsibly, because today we're going to find out what this sound is.
3 people who don't know what they're talking about. Okay.
And twins.
Hey.
Look at you.
Oh.
Hey. I know your wives now, so.
Everyone's wearing real clothes today.
I know, we have like the same.
Except my pants have buttons on the
Yeah,
sides.
those
I'm
are-
wearing snap pants.
Can you rip them off?
Yes.
I'm not asking you
that's
like
the-
I want you to.
that's
I'm
the-
asking
Would you kindly?
Could you
That's
possibly?
the third segment of today's
Good,
show.
Great.
Wait, had you not met his wife before?
No, I had, but I was
Oh.
actually telling Dan on the way there, I was like, we have spent woefully little time together. So I've spent about as much time with Liz as I now have with Carrie, who both are lovely and wonderful. And your kids whose names I don't remember. You said, say your names, and neither of them did. And then, like, you over-talked each other when you said Willa. So I missed it.
Okay, well,
Truman,
that's it.
I just forgot out of respect for Willa.
Thank you. And that's very sweet of you.
Thank you.
We should explain what we did
We did
as a show.
We did an off-camera content meeting, which I think other people just call a dinner.
Meeting.
We just had a dinner. We all went over to Michael's and we had dinner. Not the craft store, Michael's house.
Michael and Carrie
Yeah.
hosted us,
At their lovely home.
Thank you so much. for
Really
saying that.
lovely.
provided a fully cooked menu.
Yes, pork.
Multi-course,
No offense.
pork-centric.
No offense.
No offense.
You cooked the thing that I immediately discerned to be the thing you cook for people who visit.
That is the thing.
And you've got it down to
We got it
really
pretty well done.
Yeah, it's really well done.
Your pal David Chang of Family Feud.
Funny.
That's
Fame.
right, co-champion.
It's his recipe on the New York Times recipes. Momofuku's Bo Sam.
My favorite moment beyond us getting to know each other and our respective partners and Willa and Truman was when Willa and Truman totally owned Dan.
Oh my God. And I didn't help. Dan was telling a story and
We're all eating dinner together, by the way. The kids are
kids are there.
integrated into a table in a way that I was just so impressed by the way they could hang.
They sat there. They were like,
Yes.
we'll pretend we like these people. And Dan was telling a story and he used the word low key. Now, he used it the way that we grew up using it, which I believe our generation uses it as an adjective. That hang was pretty low key. The generation, your kids' generation,
Yeah.
uses it as what I believe is an adverb.
Yeah.
It was low key, pretty crazy. And so at one point he said, blah, 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 low key. And I saw them both turn to each other and like nudge each other under the table and like laugh. And I just looked over and I was like, are you laughing because he said low key? And they were like, yeah, that's exactly. And then Dan got very insecure about him saying it wrong. And I was like, no, you said it right. They're just recognizing it was a little moment of generational crossover.
It was beautiful.
That I felt bad for calling out in the first place.
He didn't really recover great from it.
No, because then he became aware of the children and how he was not connecting with them. And then I don't know if anyone else noticed, but they started clearing dishes and then so did he. And I think he really wanted to connect with the kids.
We all noticed that Dan was overcompensating by the end of the dinner.
I thought Dan did great. Reviews
thought he
on
did
Dan
too. Dan
and Liz from the evening were A+s all around.
Fantastic. What about me?
Ooh.
Do we want to talk about Detective Stabler? I just want to throw that out there. Katie,
Nemesis. No nemesis of mine?
are you caught up on the feud?
Here's what I know. There was an uncomfortable interaction between you and Mr. Meloni on Celebrity Jeopardy. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then beyond that, I know that there's like a little will they, won't they.
Well,
not with you, but
No,
Mariska.
with us. No, it's with us.
The two of you.
There's a big will they, won't they with us.
It is worth reliving that part.
Is
Okay.
it? Oh, is it? Oh.
Tell us about your charity, Katie.
Oh, yeah, I'm playing for the Association of Women in Sports Media, which, I am a woman in sports media, but we need more.
Hate watching this.
Sports media is still like 80% male. So AWSM has campus chapters, they have a scholarship program, mentorship, networking events, just to try to bring more women and more unique voices into sports media.
That's fantastic. Well done.
Absolutely. Applaud, applaud, applaud. No!
Nothing. Nothing.
Again, Dan,
Go
watch.
slow on his face. He's got no time. He doesn't look like he wants women in sports media.
Detective Stabler, during your Celebrity Jeopardy, what round was that? Do you remember?
No, but if it was, I think that was the first interview, so that must have been right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I came out the gate hot in that episode, so I think he was just like, "Who the f?"
Right.
And that's fair, totally fair.
Stabler, though, in this episode for Michael's edification,
Thank you.
did figure
Edify
in.
me.
It did figure in at the very end.
Christopher Meloni was in second place with
Oh
8,800.
God, I
He wrote
screwed
down,
up.
what is Remember the Alamo? Yes, that's the slogan. Your wager? Wagered it all.
Did you hear me go?
You have $17,600. Now, Katie Nolan had that big lead. Did she have Remember the Alamo?
I just spit.
I did.
She did. Now, math not your favorite part of
I
the
made a
game.
mistake. Oh, no.
You just had to wager more than 3,500.
Right.
And you're a
And
champion.
I wagered
You
30.
wagered exactly 30. Christopher and Katie are exactly tied.
Claire
And
Shepard in the
you're gonna
middle
go
is just
tiebreaker
delighted by
for
everything.
Delighted.
that's happening.
No, come on.
Katie, Christopher, pick up your signaling devices. I'm going to read a single category and clue. The first one of you to buzz in with the correct response is our winner and our semifinalist. But I do need a correct response. Your category is French history.
Thought I was
And
screwed.
here's the clue. Drink up. A famous New Orleans street is named after this dynasty that ruled France for most of the 17th and 18th centuries. Katie,
What is bourbon?
it is bourbon.
Yes. Yes. In your face.
Desperately trying to buzz in to the point that it looks like he's actively masturbating.
Oh my God, Pablo.
It was true.
That
it was
buzzer-
true then.
Watching
it's true
a clip
now.
of us watching a clip of me is making me feel
We're gonna do
really
this
bad. I don't like
so
this.
many
I
times.
feel like I'm incepting myself. I
That-
apologize.
That he like obliterated that buzzer. And
Yeah.
they had to get a whole new podium after that.
I would have been embarrassed if he won. I would have been, if I were him, I would have been like, well, you clearly smoked me. Why would I? I wouldn't have felt good about winning, but I guess
Yeah.
he's different. I guess he's just built different.
Christopher Meloni, star
I'm so
of
sorry.
Law and Order
I-
SVU.
And who all of my friends, specifically my dear friend Kayla, when she found out, she was like, please tell him how badly I want to have sex with him. And I was like, will do. And then after the show, I was like, I'm so sorry. Can we take a picture? And then while we were taking the picture, I just awkwardly said, my friend Kayla really
What
wants
the
to have sex with you. It was not my best. It wasn't my best, but I felt like I would be betraying my dear friend that if I didn't let him know. And it was like way past the point where it was okay to let him know, which you could argue it was never okay to let him know. And so I just was like, whatever, dude, I won Jeopardy.
You were just like, in the name of friendship, I
Yeah,
have to sexually harass this man.
Yes, I have to. She asked me. I'm a girl's girl, you know?
Yeah, and that's beautiful.
But I feel like the thing about Christopher Meloni, every time I encounter like a headline about Christopher Meloni, is along the lines of people being like, Christopher Meloni, get to the already.
Mm,
Because this was to bring sports very clearly into this on
Right.
this sports show
great.
that you all know
Yeah.
for the sports of it.
Right.
Christopher Meloni and Mariska Hargitay, this
Mm.
is Stabler and Benson, the partners on Law and Order SVU, were spotted courtside at Madison Square Garden,
Holding hands.
holding hands.
What's that? I don't hold hands when I'm sitting
Just like
ever.
inside his inner thigh.
Yeah, I don't like holding hand. Maybe I'm just an anti-hand holder. I don't know if that's a me thing. Most of the time, it's like
I
people's-
feel like if we were spotted courtside, if any
Christ.
combination
Yeah,
of us
yeah.
were spotted courtside in that pose, our actual spouses would be like,
What the Yeah.
is
What the
happening?
I guess it's different for actors, right? Like I already am not built in the way that, people who date actors can just watch them have sex scenes with like super hot other actors and they're like, that's the job. I don't think I would have that in me.
But this is not that. This
I
is
know.
not the acting part. This
I
is
know.
I mean, unless this is like just bait for
Are they still on the show together?
So this is the thing. The baiting of this, the method, will they, won't they of this.
Uh-huh.
For those not versed in Law & Order cinematic universe as I am, there was a scene that made lots of SVU news because things did get a bit steamy on the show for the very first time.
Are we going to look at it?
We are.
Yes. Oh. She's so beautiful. Oh. Elliot,
I want to. I want to, but I can't.
Oh.
Why not?
Because what if it doesn't work out?
So that was January 2023.
God, that's so Katie and Dan coded. God, that's so us.
What if it doesn't work out? And the fans, the subreddit, were very, very, of course, energized by this.
Sure.
But it has not to date paid off.
Yeah.
And this is the entire conversation, is that were we just baited by them in that circumstance?
How long ago was that in relation to the handhold?
So that was about 2 years ago.
Right, that's what I thought.
And people keep demanding because they keep on holding hands and doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
To the point where Christopher Meloni was then interviewed recently, and he addressed the fan reaction.
Video? Yes.
We're doing the best we can to make it honest, not make it bait.
Oh.
If we do bait, to at least for me, I always do it with a wink. I think it's good natured, but maybe you guys are over that. So and that's valid. But you give us too much credit for the power that we might have. Will they? Won't they? And all that stuff.
I don't 100% know what the he's saying right there.
I think he was trying to say it's not up to them, it's up to the writers and or producers or whoever's in charge. And that when he baits in the public eye, he tries to do it like, I know you really want us to bang. Like, we're holding hands.
I got you.
But
Thank you for translating.
But I don't think that he... But
I didn't see a wink in that photo. There was no wink in that photo.
No wink, but he does say it's valid if people are sick of it. So it sounds like he has heard people are like, better get off the pot, essentially.
This is, I think, the larger conversation around like what we all demand from television. So shipping is like a thing, right? This is now an ancient art, ancient tradition in which people are putting characters together.
You're familiar?
Yes,
Okay,
of course.
sure.
Like everybody shipped
So
your
old.
Severance character.
Yes, obviously.
Yes.
Yep.
With his coworker, the lady that
with
was...
the lady that was debating him.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Debating.
Wow, really good. Really, really good.
Embrace the bait.
Okay.
Anyone?
Diminishing
It
returns,
is
but still
flipping her
good.
hair back
Anyone?
and forth
Anyone?
very proudly. But the point being, though, that like this is... It's sort of what you want, right? Because, oh my God, people are so invested in the authenticity, the friendship, the real life, like will they, won't they, that they demand and create fan fiction. Only for, I guess in this case, us to have to wonder, like, are you guys actually going to pay this off? Or is there no end game here and all you have is the juice of them almost kissing and then holding hands in real life?
Well, because we're getting to the point now where like, yeah, you're not in control of the scripted show, but you could certainly leave your spouses and have a fling. You're in control of that. And don't get us to the point where we start demanding that of like, well, if you're going to hold hands at a Knicks game, I don't know, I think that's kind of wild, but I don't want this to be colored by the fact that you think I have some sort of long-standing beef with him. I have nothing but respect for Elliot Stabler. I've watched so much SVU. I only watch
Oh God,
I only watch
so
the
much.
the reruns. I'm not like up to date on the new stuff, but so much SVU. And I truly like would love to see them hook up in the show, but I do want to say I think I'm done with the holding of the hands outside in the room. I don't need that.
I don't want those two characters to get together on the show unless it's like this is the last episode of the show and it's over now.
Damn,
Because
like a Lifetime movie.
Then it's like about them. You know what I mean? And that's not what it's about. It's about all these insane crimes.
It's about the corruption within the police force.
That's
if you watch it through that lens, we're like, I don't think they're supposed to be doing this.
I think it's about Christopher Meloni fundamentally edging.
All the
so
time.
you think you're diagnosing his kink?
Yeah.
Now I need to make sure you're not shaming him for that kink because we don't do that.
Never.
Great.
But we are, again, implying that maybe he should break up with his wife in real life and, get with...
First of all, I'm not
Benson.
saying that. I'm in full support of their marriages. I do think the acting thing you were saying before, which is that actors are
built different.
This is not an excuse.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like
They're just built
how it
different.
is. It's like you come up, you're in acting school and you're all like giving each other massages and shit, and that's just normal. That doesn't happen in your...
I was going to use Sydney Sweeney and Glenn as Powell as an example, but she just broke up with her fiance, so maybe that's not a good example.
Maybe it's exactly the
Maybe it's not
example
a
that we
good
need to
She's
be talking
going to start
about.
dating Christopher Meloni.
I will say Christopher Meloni also has any roles I've seen him in outside of SVU have been pretty sexually charged. I feel like he was Selena Meyer's little fling on Veep.
Oh, yes.
He was like a life coach or some sort of a personal trainer or something.
People are disturbed by your role. Yeah, they think folks who are physical can't be cerebral. They think those two things are separate, that they're not symbiotic.
He was also in, I forget the name of that show.
Isn't he in Wet Hot American Summer?
He is.
And is he sexed up in that?
Now, if you don't mind, I have some unfinished business to attend to.
He's not ashamed of his physical form, that's for sure. And God bless him.
What is the name of that show that was on Hulu? I think it was a tiny little cameo part.
Max with
No.
3 X's?
No.
That's a real show he's also on. That was on Hulu.
This part of the show
I
is
know.
called Googling Things. It's where we
Difficult
stop
people.
talking. Oh, difficult people.
Difficult people. What I remember is him doing the splits.
Yeah. He's doing a split.
I'm so far from being able to do a split. I can barely stand.
Yeah.
And he has his index finger under his chin.
Yeah. Being a zaddy.
Yep. So I guess what we're saying is
What are we saying?
Kayla Christopher Meloni.
No, she's married now.
What?
She got married.
Wait, Kayla's
My
your
friend. Yeah.
Another will they, won't they?
No, I've been saying it. And I think they still could.
Wow, I think this is it's a really inopportune time for Christopher Meloni to have this thought then re-entered into his consciousness.
What?
Because the idea that he needs to sleep with your friend, especially now that she's married, because
That's the number one thing he's into.
he could go on a quest of some kind.
Do we want to talk about those Australians in that video?
Okay, so listen, when you put in the doc, Pablo put in the doc a thing about 2 twins in Australia, and I thought it was the 2 from Extreme Sisters on TLC.
I'm Anna. And I'm Lucy. We're the world's most identical twins. And we're from Perth.
And they do everything
Them?
together. Yep, they share a boyfriend. They're from Perth, which is in Australia.
So
And so this means
They
there's
share
now
a boyfriend?
2. Yes,
the same boyfriend, not not twins.
they share a
Is
boyfriend.
it this guy who's
They
wearing
would-
a gold chain and a black shirt sitting in between them?
It sure is. Their clothes are also custom made. They always wear the same thing. They had a difficult time finding a job because they needed to work together.
Who's actually going for the position?
Both of us. In the past, we've shared a job and we've shared a wage. You're kind of getting like 2 for the price of 1. You're getting 4 hands instead of 2. We're willing to share the job.
Okay.
We're a package deal. We always come together. We're never apart.
But they do the same thing from your clip. They finish each other's sentences and they talk together and they always at the end of their sentences and it's like very funny. And I'd never seen anyone do it. And then I watched the clip you sent and those women do it as well.
Witnesses are recounting some of the drama that unfolded on the Sunshine Coast this afternoon. 2 sisters have told how their mother and man raced to help when the carjacked SUV rolled on Steve Irwin Way, only to find the gun-wielding car thief emerging from the wreck. Here's some of what they had to say.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum, and he went up there and he was coming back down towards us and he goes, run, he's got a gun.
It reminds me of a bit that Kristen Wiig and Fred Armisen used to do on SNL.
And it's called
There's every time for mothers, but there's no time for the non-mothers. Because I got a good feeling about everything they say, but no one's gonna tell you the difference.
So, two things. Apologies for laughing at their traumatic memory of a carjacking.
Of course.
However,
they seem fine.
They do.
Can you give the visuals, people not watching?
Well, they do also seem to be nurses, I will say. They, just based on their outfits, they did seem to be nurses.
They were
Sorry,
wearing.
that was all I was going to add in.
No, they were
right.
bunny rabbit
patterned scrubs.
Yeah.
They're wearing the exact same outfit. They had the exact same hairstyle.
And face.
Yeah, so I think like you could be twins, even identical twins, and yet differentiate yourself in some way.
But they don't seem to want to.
Those people seem to have no interest in being unique individuals in any way.
Correct. So my main instinct when I get a viral video like this passing across my timeline is always to figure out, like, how old is this? Did this just happen? Where is it from? What you learn is that these two twins are not nurses. For people.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
They're nurses.
Dogs.
Try again.
Cats.
Try again.
Birds?
Kangaroos. Bird nurse?
Are they bird nurses?
They're burses?
Guys, meet these two identical burses.
Oh. Bridget and Paula.
It was very hard to sleep at night too. Hello, Mr. Percival. We thought our dream was never going to come true for the birds. Got more birds in there.
This sanctuary is home to the twinnies, Paula and Bridget Powers.
So this is some of the birds outside here.
They're famous around the
Dan
world
Nolan,
for speaking
Uncle
in
Dan.
unison, but also the incredible work they've dedicated their lives to. Relying on donations, they save injured birds, rehabilitate them, before releasing the feathered friends back into the wild.
Couldn't be more normal.
Yeah.
What a country.
I think that's great. Look, it's me and my sister, who's also me. And what do? We go to nursing school. For what? Birds. And that's great. Why not? If that's what brings you joy, you know?
There's a lot in the what was their names again?
Paula and Bridget.
Bridget and
Kenny,
Paula
they're
Powers.
actually Kenny's little sisters.
Yep. This is the spinoff. This is in the Kenny Powers cinematic universe. Bridget and Paula are, it seems, extraordinarily famous in Australia for being twinnies, which is either a thing that all Australians call twins or just them.
That's a good point. So we don't know.
Hard to know.
How could we?
Hard to know.
No way to look it up.
Twinnies.
Never going to successfully Google that result.
And twins. Remember that? Remember when Coors Light, was that Coors Light?
Yeah,
Did
it
a
was
whole
Coors
commercial
Light.
where the
I remember the
punchline-
out of that.
And twins. Love burritos at 4 a.m. Drinking with my friends. And twins.
I love football on TV. Shots of Gina Lee. Hanging with my friends. And twins. I love burritos at 4 a.m. Parties that never end. Dogs that love cats. And twins.
They're related.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think I want to be a part of. I'm an accessory to something.
Incest.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I guess maybe for looking, because it's to a man, I guess a simple-minded Coors Light man, and the one that they're portraying in that commercial, I guess it's two of a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's like,
this is a
wouldn't
really
you
good
rather just
point.
an unrelated other hot lady?
Yeah.
I don't think we need to have
What about
two sisters that can't
and-
kiss.
Hear me out. And friends. Like it's two women who
Okay.
are friends. Maybe that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
right.
a pitch. If I could go
Now
back and
that-
talk to that guy.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, like the entire subplot of the season of The White Lotus was essentially like,
I don't watch it, so look at him instead. I didn't.
it's like, what if two siblings, f***ing
There's a lot. There's some herky jerky between siblings.
Yeah.
Spoiler if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's
emphasis on
disturbing.
Jerky?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a hand job happened.
Yeah.
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 Sure does.
Um,
Is there more stuff about the twins with the birds?
So now that we've established that we don't think they should be making out with each other.
Yeah, thank
or
you. I'm glad we did cover that.
doing anything like that.
Right.
I do want to point out that these twins have said in the Australian press that they have never had a boyfriend, either of them, because they do everything together, and
Okay.
that would be
My girls have solved that.
to
Extreme
them,
Sisters have solved that.
They think it's weird. The
Yeah.
twinnies think it's weird. Your twins.
They had the same boyfriend and they wanted to marry him, but they couldn't find anywhere where the darn laws would allow it.
That sounds right.
We're thinking we want to start a family. Soon.
Soon. We want to know our options.
And you have partners?
We share our partner.
And we see us having a child with him, well, both of us.
Not just one child, two babies.
So
Okay.
She needs to be pregnant and I need to be pregnant at exactly the same time.
In the meantime, let's contemplate the unfortunate circumstance that our twinnies in Australia found themselves in.
Oh, good. There's more.
Which is that their bird sanctuary was running out of money.
Oh, no. How?
Holy shit.
How's that happen?
Well, they needed a solution.
Okay.
Enter a gentleman named Peter.
Are they going to date him?
I'm scared of this.
We felt like chucking the towel in many times, but when we look into the bird's eyes, we can't. We couldn't. We knew in our hearts that Peter was a lovely man.
Oh.
We should call him Saint Peter. I'm going to hate getting old because we're going to still be worrying about the birds. We just hope we get the younger generation coming through and have the passion what we have. It's not a princess's job whatsoever of a morning. We love getting our hands dirty. We're still pinching ourselves. He should be called Saint Peter.
The Good Doctor's donation securing the future of the twinnies operation.
When we first met Peter, we knew that he had a heart.
Well,
yeah.
Didn't it seem like the one almost kissed Peter that one time?
I didn't see that.
Like some birds can be in
Accidental
care
hug
24
almost
hours.
became a...
Some birds can be in care 3 months or up to a couple of years. Yes, but they end up going back to the wild.
No one ever gets frustrated they can't finish it. That's not what I was going to say. Nobody ever goes like, that's not actually not where I was going with that. Because I'll tell you, that's Dan and I thinking that's how we talk. We would love to both tell the same story, but we're both saying different things.
I will say in that context specifically, the idea of someone telling your story with you who tells it the way you want it told is really beautiful. Because
Right.
if you've ever been at a meal where the other member of the couple wants to tell the story slightly differently,
Which we all
it
just
is
were.
f***ing torture.
Yeah, it is.
Whoever starts the story, it's their story.
Yeah.
Lay off.
We should recognize that Bridget or Paula definitely almost kissed Peter
Yeah.
accidentally. Can you play that part again?
And if
We're
then
still
what?
pinching ourselves. He should be called Saint Peter.
You already did that, Joe.
The Good Doctor's donation securing...
Okay, fine.
Regular hug. Yowza! The sparks flew.
Absolutely
Damn.
crackling.
Wow.
Just some real Benson Stabler energy.
Exactly.
Will they? Won't they? Can they? Legally?
Maloney and Hargitay wish.
Damn.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh my God.
These two are so lovable. These are such lovable twinnies.
Yeah.
I will say.
I would say relatively adorable, but still vaguely, there's something unnerving.
Absolutely.
Have you opened your Instagram messages within the last week?
No.
I got a prompt
Oh,
that was
maybe.
like, chat with AI, when it's like, new feature. And it said, chat with AI. And I was like, no. And when you hit X, it still took me to the landing page of these are some AIs you could chat with if you wanted to. And there was one named Kendrick Lamar. There was one called Emo Boy. And then the one that had the most interactions, something like 649,000 interactions, was named Stepsister. And I was like, what's this? It's like, what?
I mean,
if it's not your but if it's not your stepsister, then who's the fact that it's somebody's stepsister is enough to make you be like, ugh. It's not even it's not your step. And why do you want to talk to an AI stepsister? What is this?
Well, this Filipino Pope.
There could be a Filipino Pope.
There really
Did you
could
guys
be.
see
That's
Conclave?
so important
Did you see-
to you.
did
I
you
didn't
see
see it.
Conclave?
I didn't see it.
I haven't seen it yet.
Guys,
The Pope is dead. The throne is vacant.
To me, what conclave is, and I'm sure I'm wrong, is hey, it's a bunch of popes.
yeah. It's a bunch of wannabe popes.
Yeah.
To me, what was so interesting about it, great actors, great cast.
Yeah.
Rafe Fiennes.
That's right. Who turned out to be, he's kind of a dingus in real life, right? But didn't he do
he's
something
jacked?
annoying? Didn't he do something annoying
Is
at
he
the,
Jack now?
I only know that he's ripped.
is he the one who
Ray
threw his
Fiennes
gum
jacked.
at his wife and was like,
No, that was
my
Adrian
Brody.
Brody.
God,
Adrian
Ray
Brody.
Fiennes is jacked.
Rafe Fiennes is
Did you
f***ing yoked.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
What is going
You think
on?
he doesn't get naked as the Pope in the Pope movie? You don't think I see that in the Pope movie?
Wait, in Conclave, he's
No,
nude?
you don't.
Oh,
You don't see
damn.
it. But here's what I liked about Conclave. It's basically war, right? It's a bunch of people from different countries all over the world wanting to seize the highest power in the church, the papacy.
Papacy.
Papacy. Damn, I say it like the
It's
smear.
a papacy smear.
I say it like the smear. So it's a war, but it can't be violent, right? You can't actually be violent, and you're supposed to stay moral.
If you want to defeat Tedesco,
This is a conclave, Aldo. It's not a war.
it is a war. And you have to commit to a side.
And so, like, you see people try to, like, cheat their way into winning and they get caught. And then, like, the head, whoever's running the conclave has to, like, figure out how God would want us to deal with this. So it's like a moral compass. It's a heavily moral war acted by great actors.
And it's good.
So it's really good. Yeah, I liked it a
I'll
lot.
check it out.
But it made me really interested for this now but I don't think it happens right away. I don't think it's going to happen till May.
Yeah, we got weeks, I was told,
I
by,
guess May is soon.
by
Yeah,
my
this guy's
Google
soon.
search. Yeah.
Well, front runner, as I'm told, on the betting markets, and
Yep.
I'm glad that there are
Crazy.
betting markets on
That's
this.
really wrong.
The
and
homie
should
is
not
Filipino.
That's
and
right.
His name is, say it with me, 3, 2, 1.
Cardinal Luis Antonio, I can't pronounce his
be.
last
You didn't
name.
even say it. You said, say it with me.
I don't know what it is.
Tagle?
That's why.
Tagle?
Tagle. Luis Antonio
Sheesh.
Tagle.
Well, that wouldn't be his name if he became Pope, to be clear.
They changed.
Oh,
They changed your
pick up-
name.
they pick a Pope name.
Right.
Yeah.
What,
You know what I mean?
what should he call himself?
Pius. Pius is a
Jeff.
great. What's the other good Pope name that's a word?
Pope Jeff.
Pope
the
Jeff.
First.
There's like a Pope.
Pope John.
It's
Paul.
like some, no, but it's a word. It's
Yep,
like
sure.
pious is a
Yep.
is a word. There's another one that's like a
Oh, this is a good one. Let's do some. Let's do
But
some,
pious, they don't do it the English way. They do it the Latin way, right?
Pious. I thought.
Oh, I thought
Oh, is it
P-I-U-S?
Pius? It might be.
All right, here we go. Popular papal names.
Yes.
John.
Papular.
Paul.
Papular. Everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Benedict.
Uh-huh.
Gregory, Clement, Leo, Innocent.
Innocent.
That's a good
Nice.
one. Stephen, Celestine,
Mm-hmm.
Anacletus, Marcellus, Sixtus, Paul, Urban, Boniface, Alexander, Victor, Damasus, Evaristus, Hilarious.
Are there this many popes that
Jesus,
these can all be considered
So
popular
sorry for
pope
my
names?
text
Yeah, I
words.
think so. I do think so.
How many popes have there been?
Lots.
Like 10.
You know,
I'm
there,
just kidding. 100?
How many?
popes?
Two.
Great.
120.
It's a great question.
3, 2, 1.
98.
98 popes.
The number of all popes to the present,
I'm going 126.
264.
I started up high. I
Wow.
should have stayed there.
Wow. I wasn't even at 50%.
Now imagine this is to the lyrics and the songbook of Mambo Number 5.
Yes.
Evaristus, Hilarious, Hyginus, Linus, Zephyrinus,
Hyginus.
Lucius, Calixtus, and Felix, Anastasius, and Valentinus, and Constantinus, and Dionysus.
Dionysus.
Too close to the sun,
Damn.
right?
No.
That's
Damn it.
Icarus. His
no, but
dad
who
was
his dad?
Daedalus.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Damn.
Daedalus?
What did Dionysus
Daedalus.
do?
God of wine.
Ah.
as I
Wow. I
recall.
like that Pope.
That's a bacchanal guy.
That's a cool
That's
Pope.
a fun pope.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a fun pope. I wouldn't think you would do a pope named after like a Roman god. That would seem like
Yeah.
conflict of godliness.
Well, they didn't really care about the conflict, right? Didn't they? Because didn't they?
Pope
let's not get into it.
Dionysus.
Say, didn't they adapt the symbol of the thing that they did?
I have absolutely no
Jesus.
idea. 3 people who don't know what they're talking about. Okay.
And twins.
But wait, so the Filipino guy could be the Pope. That's what I'm reading in Newsweek is we could have a Filipino Pope.
Yeah.
Has there been a Filipino Pope before?
Of course
I assume
not.
We're talking
What do you mean, of
Hundo
course
P
not?
white popes, right?
Check him out. Luis
haven't
Antonio
all-
Tagle.
They've all been white?
I assume so.
Have all the popes been white?
Show me Indian Pope.
Well, we got an Argentinian pope. He gets really into the
He was
colorism
Italian.
of.
But
He was
he's white.
Italian. He was Italian.
many
He
are
was born. He was born in
You could
Argentina.
be Argentinian and still be white, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I think that guy's white.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything
no
in this
offense.
discussion. I don't.
100% white.
Wow.
Hundo P white.
Hundo
So
P.
it's
White.
time. The time has come.
I think it's time for a Filipino pope.
Look, what I'm reading about this guy is he's relatively progressive. You're not going to get it.
Yep.
You're not going to get it all the way.
Yeah.
You
We're
are never
talking
going to
about
get
a
that.
progressive ecclesiological vision.
And you know
And
that
you know what
vision's
that
got to be
means.
ecclesiological.
No question.
What does it mean?
You know,
Sure. But if I didn't,
well,
I think ecclesiological means like of or pertaining to the study
the
of the
ecclesi-
church.
Oh.
and then it's a progressive. So he's
Okay.
progressive that.
Yeah. He also is known for celebrating Mass in a folksy and casual manner.
Love that. Love Jesus
Absolutely
in a t-shirt.
love that.
Love
Absolutely
that.
love it.
Before coming here, I asked the Holy Father if he had a message for you. He said, conversion to the Eucharist. Then he turned to me and said, behave well.
I love that.
A priest who
Cool,
starts every
dude.
service with, listen up, y'all.
Flip the chair around. Sit down.
Low key, we're going to heaven.
We're low-key need to talk
He's
about
wearing a tank top.
the papacy. The papacy.
The papacy.
You know how it happens? They take a vote, the initial vote. They count the votes. You have to have some percentage of the votes. It's all the cardinals are the ones that vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
They all get
A
called
college
into
of cardinals?
They'll get called into a
You
conclave.
got your Albert Pujols.
Nice.
Scott Rowland.
Good. That's it. Can't name any others.
Those are the two.
You lock them
Jason
basically
Isringhausen.
up. They lock them up in like a staycation with all the cardinals. And then every day, I think sometimes there's 2 votes. They do a vote. They pull the names. They give you like, okay, so those are our top names. Now we discuss.
Yeah.
Now we figure out where the votes are going. And then like they do a second vote and it doesn't end until somebody gets, I want to say 80% of the vote. And then that's the new pope. And then the smoke that is
Smoke
what
comes out.
Yeah. A 2/3 majority is what you need.
Okay.
So 80 votes if there are 120 voting cardinals present.
which shouldn't there be? Don't we live in a world?
We can all agree.
They all got to be there, right? It's not like you can be like, oh, I can't, dude. I'm in.
You're not zooming in.
I'm
on
in
this.
Cabo or whatever.
Well, there's one who comes
Pope
late.
Dionysius is.
Yeah, Pope Hilarious is like, I can't. I got 2 shows at the Chuckle Hut that
Kid,
night.
I'm married to Alec Baldwin.
Nice.
Wow.
Ba-dum-bum. Another bleak reality show about families if you were looking for one.
Another person who was actually white and not Latin American.
Yes, that's true.
Ilaria.
Ilaria.
How do you say
Ilaria.
cucumber?
How you say? How you say?
Oh, you say.
But I mean, that's gonna be I'm just saying for Filipinos, that's gonna be huge.
Oh my
it's
God.
gonna be huge.
It'd be huge for all
my
of us.
God.
And every at least
You guys
in my-
aren't going to shut up about it.
You're f***ing right. We're not.
I'm gonna
You guys are
get
gonna be super
I'm gonna
religious.
get merch.
Yeah, you guys will be super religious all of a sudden.
Going to mass every day.
I'm in a Pope hat 24/7 with my mom
Riding in
telling
a Pope
everybody,
mobile.
"That's your cousin." She's gonna be telling everybody that. I promise you, my mom's like, we know him. That's our friend.
I did already Google like Luis Antonio Tagle family tree. I'm like, come on.
I gotta be on
Come
here.
on.
I gotta be on here.
Ancestry.com
Check up
results.
on your check up on your ancestry. See if you became more Pope-y.
Damn.
That is true, though. I'm gonna be so Catholic. I'm gonna be more Catholic than anybody.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go all the way. I don't even know what
You
that means.
coming to mass?
Oh yeah,
You coming over to mass
Going to
today?
mass every day.
What?
I'm
It's
having
Tuesday.
the incense. This thing where
Yeah.
you swing around. I'm
Oh,
gonna
I
have
don't
that.
think I don't think we're supposed to do that. I think that's for them to
No,
do.
Filipinos get to do that.
No,
They're
that's
saying we can do
Because
it.
your cousin's the Pope.
They're saying we can do it.
So
if
you
you're
have to
cousins
do it.
with the Pope, you can swing the incense around.
Swing the thing around
like a lasso.
Can I do the bell?
Yes, I'm empowering you to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you podcast with a Filipino, you also get to ring the bell.
Honorary
Nepo
Filipino.
bell ringer. Dingy, 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 ding.
What I found out today on this episode of Pablo Torre Finds Out, a show about finding out some stuff, is that you're not going to hear out there one of the segments we taped.
Thank God. And what I learned today is to shut my mouth sometimes. We talked about too many things and most of them bad. And I won't be participating in any discourse around this episode. I probably won't even cross-post any clips. I apologize to your lovely, wonderful production staff.
They're all asleep.
They haven't been there for hours. I learned today that some twins are really twinning it.
Yeah.
They're really going all the way.
And the others are lazy.
And the other, you know what? Try harder.
Step it up.
I always say.
Step it up,
always say,
Dan and Jeffrey
Dan and
Bloom,
Jeffrey Bloom
from my middle
from my
school.
middle school.
And I also
and I
think
also think
high
high
school. You're
school.
going after me, which is actually just an annoying echo. So I feel like you need to work a
Work
little bit on
the
becoming. Is it that I
is it
talk
I
too
talk
fast?
Yours is more of a really quick parrot. You know what I mean? A parrot who's like, I got this.
The type of
You know, like
The-
a parrot.
Did I say what I learned?
You did.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Did you learn a second thing? You can learn.
No.
You can say anything you learned.
No.
I think. I'm in charge now, right?
Yeah. We're going to edit this into a Coors Light musical number.
Love. 4 a.m.'s too late for a burrito. 3 a.m. is dicey.
Yeah.
2 a.m. fine. Burritos at 4 a.m.?
I love burritos at 4 a.m. is like I love having diarrhea at 7 in the morning.
I love pizza at 4 a.m. I'm not. Burritos at 4 a.m. is like more involved. You go home, you drunk order a burrito? I don't know.
At 4 a.m., I have a burrito because what I like is gastrointestinal distress.
Yeah.
I want to be in constant pain.
I become a burrito.
Uh-huh.
I roll up in my blanket.
Maybe that's what he means.
Cheese.
Maybe he's kind of with cheese.
With cheese and beans.
And twins.
And twins!
Pablo Torre Finds Out is produced by Walter Avaroma, Ryan Cortez, Sam Daywig, Juan Galindo, Patrick Kim, Neely Lohman, Rob McRae, Rachel Miller-Howard, Carl Scott, Matt Sullivan, Claire Taylor, Chris Tuminello, and Juliet Warren. Our studio engineering by RG Systems. Our sound design by NGW Post. Our theme song, as always, is by John Bravo. And we will talk to you next time.